Swingers, and welcome to Macca's Old School. It's episode 42. It is Wednesday the 5th of June. I'm here as usual with my partner in crime here, Mr. John Kelly. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
We're obviously on location again, and we're doing it from Darlighurst Courthouse. There's a wealth of history here, John. Today's stuff is a mixed bag. We're not talking about one thing. We're going to be talking about Darlighurst Jail, which is just behind here. It's 1800s Aussie crime and time today. Executions, court cases, rapes, horrific. So let's rip, John. What do you want to kick off with here, mate? It looks like it's going to piss down shortly, Swingers, but...
Well, we were originally talking about in the 80s, during crime in the 80s, so much happened.
And we've done a lot of that, haven't we?
Yeah. And then we realised that looking at the 1800s,
yep,
the 1880s,
take these off so I can
probably
see.
even more.
Yep.
More worthy of reporting really than the old Hackney one that everybody knows. There's so much people don't know about the 1880s.
Yep.
And I just think we start off, we'll mention Ned Kelly, who was hanged in 1880 on the 11th of November.
Victoria.
Captain Moonlight was hanged. There's a famous rape trial where 4 people were executed.
We'll talk more about that for sure.
The last woman hanged, what was her name?
Louise Collins.
Louise Collins.
Mate, that one, we can kick a bit about that now.
Yeah.
We're in the theme today, Swingers, with our old style hats. I've got my little Squizzy Taylor on from Lifeline.
Well, he came a little bit later.
Yeah. But look, Louisa Collins.
Yeah, Louisa Collins. Yeah.
She was hanged on the 8th of January 1889.
That's right.
She was the first lady that was hung in Sydney, and the last in New South Wales. And this is the thing too. They didn't discriminate back then, did they?
No.
We're a penal settlement.
There were only 2 women hanged in New South Wales.
Yep.
She was the last one.
And it was a barbaric.
Yep.
Yep. She got. She was 41 years old. She was a mother of 10. 4 cases, 4 fucking trials, John.
Yeah, well, she, when I say last and first, she was the last woman hanged in New South Wales.
Yep.
But the first woman hanged at Darlighurst.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of difference. But,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's the history? 79 executions at Darlighurst Jail, Swingers, here in Sydney.
Yeah,
how many people know that?
77 men. And what they may not know too is that the executions were actually public.
Yeah.
Until 1856. They were public. And
we're a barbaric bunch, aren't we?
One of the reasons they stopped the public was because people took time off from work to come to it. And the audience, 3 times the amount of women came. I swear that's bad.
That says something, doesn't it?
And some of the bosses used to say, I don't want to be giving people time off to come to watch an execution. It's incredible. And you look back to the old English days when they had nothing to do, they'd go and watch those horrible executions where they drawn and quartered. But so they stopped it in 1856. But when you look, this place is very famous. But Ned Kelly in the 1880s, he was hanged at Old Melbourne Jail.
Yep.
In 1880. But then you had Captain Moonlight. Which say a little bit about him because that's an incredible story, Captain Moonlight too, because what he did, he met a guy. I'm trying to think of the guy's, his partner's name. Anyway, they were gay.
They were gay.
Yeah. They met at Pentridge.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but in the 1800s, that would have been.
Well, they met between 1875 and 1877 in Pentridge. Now, the thing is that. In those days, it just wasn't open.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
That's right.
So
it was big taboo.
Yeah, when they got out, they met up in 1879, and they were campaigning for prison reform.
Yeah, right.
But then they decided to slip into New South Wales, and so they went to New South Wales. The gang of them was 6, and they couldn't get work. They were hungry. They went into this homestead sheep cattle station, and. In New South Wales, up near Wagga, and they turned them away, so they took them hostage, and they finished up there as a confrontation. And his mate's name was Nesbitt, and he got killed. He got mortally wounded, as did one of their 15-year-old gang members, and also a cop.
Yeah.
So that was, they just got them arrested. He wasn't a great bushranger by any means.
Yeah.
But what did happen is before they executed him, and they executed him here, he wrote a lot of letters in the cells and poems. And what he did was he wanted to be buried with his mate Nesbitt. And that didn't happen at the time.
Yeah.
But 100 years later, in 1980s, a lot of these letters surfaced, and all of a sudden, because the gay movement, they pushed it. Here we had a couple of gay bushrangers, and they become legendary. They become legendary. And you wouldn't believe it, I was over in Yatala at the time in South Australia jail for bank robbing, and there were 2 bank robbers there, and they worked together. They were gay.
Yeah, wow.
They were gay, and it sort of was ironic this similar thing happening. And then in 1986 at Park Lee, I met John Robertson. He was there, and his mate, the other one, was over in Yatala.
Yeah, right.
And he was upset because they were separated, and he made an application to be transferred on humanity grounds that his husband was over in, because they weren't officially married in those days.
Oh, mate, they must have cooked a lot of shit.
Well, they knocked him back and he hanged himself. So you know, it's just the irony there. Like the other guy getting hanged and him hanging himself over his partner. The other guy writing letters wants to be buried. I think they did bury him together in the end, but it's become a legendary story.
Oh
because the close, because you hear about Captain Moonlight. You think he was a famous bushranger, but that's why he was famous.
That's why he was famous for that thing. Yeah, because he wasn't the most famous, was he?
Oh, nowhere near. No. Yeah.
But I mean,
he was hanged in. He was hanged right here as well. As you said, there were 79 people got hanged.
Absolutely terrible, and that's bloody interesting, Captain Moonlight. But also, what we were saying earlier with Louisa Collins. Just to finish off on her swingers as well, John, because it was fucking barbaric, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was a well-known executioner up here they called Nosy Bob. And why did they call him Nosy, John?
A horse kicked his nose off.
Yeah.
He had 2 holes.
He had 2 hole swingers, and hence Nosy Bob they called him.
But there's a theory about him.
He was a shed house executioner as well. Not a horrible job anyway. But
well, he went for about nearly 30 years. But what happened? He was doing well. He was a coachman. And that's how it happened. But so apparently he sank right down in life because he became an assistant hangman, and when he first started, he used to be a pretty high-ranking coachman. He used to transport a lot of the rich around, and he had a lot of good customers. But a lot of those rich people, particularly women, when he had the nose, they didn't want him.
They would have been repulsed. Yeah.
And it made him bitter, and some people think he deliberately botched all of these aims. Now the thing is, with Louisa Collins, as you said, she made history, but she also made history because they had 4 murder trials.
4 murder trials, swingers, and she was accused of killing 2 husbands. One was definitely arsenic was involved apparently, but 4 trials, mother of 10, 41 years old. There's a lot of controversy, which we love. There's a lot of controversy whether she was actually guilty or not.
Well, the 4 trials alone means there must have been a lot of doubt there.
A lot of doubt.
And that's a record, 4 trials in one thing. It's
unbelievable. And they finally, Nosy Bob, they finally end up whacking her, and Nosy Bob really stuffed it up.
He made a mess of it and almost decapitated her.
Almost decapitated her, swingers. Her air pipe was hanging out. It was just absolutely gross, and that was when I think they went fuck. They canned the women and that after this situation.
Yeah, but it didn't stop them as we know, in Goalin, because in 1951 they hanged that woman. They put her on a chair.
Unbelievable.
Jane Lee, they put her on a chair because she was so drugged up that she couldn't stand up. They just straight around, tied her on a chair and dropped the full thing. And I've seen the gallows, because that's where they hang Ryan as well. Yeah. And they hang 2 of them.
Which we've talked about. You were there. John was in Pentridge that day they hung Ryan. Ronald Ryan, the last one in '66.
Well, there is some doubt about Ryan, definitely.
And, 100%. We did a podcast on that. Yeah.
There's some doubt about Louisa Collins. Now, the thing is...
Absolutely.
We've heard she went... bravely to the gallows.
I was reading up on that. Yeah, apparently she was stoic to the end.
She was stoic, and they used to walk her through the tunnels. There's tunnels down under here, under the courthouse, and it's a terrible thing because I've been there and I've been through it and I wonder what the hell was going on. They're walking down through these tunnels. You come up through some stairs and you step into the courtroom.
Yep.
And you've got the jury and the judge all looking down at you. Well, you haven't got much chance on a trial when that happens because they think you're sort of like a sewer rat.
Just imagine, swingers, it'd be terrifying, wouldn't it? I mean, it's an old building, so there's tunnels right under here. And as John just said, you've walked the tunnels. It must be fucking terrifying.
Well, particularly the first time, you don't know what's happening or where the hell you're going. They don't tell you anything. And then all of a sudden you step up and you look around in this bloody courtroom. The judge is looking down and he's up there and the jury's looking at you and you think, you know.
Pretty intimidating, isn't it?
And they think to themselves, look at this bloody gutter rat, you know. They're looking down on you and coming out of a sewer.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Not many trials for one when you had to step in a court like that. And
unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, this place is quite historic for that. They did stop. It closed down in 1914, just when the war was starting.
Yep.
But the other, probably even the most famous trial, they call it one of the nicknames is the Waterloo trial because they had a gang of young guys from Waterloo. And what happened? This girl.
This is fucking horrific. Yeah.
Mary Jane Hicks. She went to a convent in Bathurst and then got a job.
16 years old.
Yeah, and got a job as just a housemaid and stuff like that. She was on her way to apply for a job.
Yeah.
And she got picked up by a guy in a handsome cap. Now, he started making advances at her and she fought him off and jumped out. And two guys ran over and rescued her.
Like the heroes. Yeah. There's always a hero. Yeah.
And later on it alleged it might have been set up because they took her down near Moore Park, which was bushland at the time.
Yep.
Took her there and there were a whole heap of guys waiting and she was getting raped. And it was
unbelievable,
went on for hours. She went in and out of consciousness and
they near killed her. 16 years old, 12 of these bastards involved.
And they all got away. The police arrived. Somebody saw it. He tried to intervene and they fought him off. And he went all the way to Redfern police station. And by the time the police arrived, it was still going on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they might have bloody killed her.
Oh, it's amazing she survived it. Attacked by 12 ringworms. You know what I mean? Like it's just unbelievable.
So they all got away. And but they know him now, and they also got the handsome cab driver, got him. And eventually there was a public outcry. Now, what had happened, this is topical because at the time there'd been a lot of gang rapes in Sydney and they couldn't convict anyone.
Yeah.
So what they did, they legislated changed the law 3 years earlier and made it that it became a capital offence.
Yeah, right.
So they were determined if they got anybody for gang rape, they were going to set an example and hang someone. So that's what these young blokes, there were 12 and only one of them was over 20. All the rest were over 20. Now, what happened is when they did go to trial, some of the newspapers were outraged, but one newspaper went on that she wasn't a virgin. Can you believe this?
Fucking hell.
Show
Catholic school, 16-year-old girl, and back then, no doubt she was a virgin.
No, she said that...
it's the fucking media again.
She'd been raped by one of the masters when she was 14.
Oh, you're joking?
Yeah, she wasn't one of those girls who run around with anybody. There was never any proof that she was running around with anybody.
This poor girl, imagine her life would have been fucked. And these are incredible stories that people don't know. That's why we're doing it today, aren't we, John?
Yeah.
These stories of the 1800s. People don't know.
She didn't live very long. She died.
No, I'm surprised she didn't end up bloody topping herself.
Yeah.
But 4 of those bastards hung. They did hang 4
Well,
of them.
what they did, it was a hell of a trial, very controversial.
Yeah.
And what happened, there's an ABC documentary about it, and it was made about 10 years ago. I actually saw it. And what they did, they convicted 9 of them. Two were acquitted. They convicted 9 and sentenced them all to death. And then eventually 5 of them got reprieved. 5 were reprieved, and they served only 10 years, and they got out and went on with their lives. So they served 10. The other 4 were hanged. Now this is the thing about the hanging. Guess who hanged them? Nosy Bob. The first guy went okay, he died straight away.
Yep.
The other 3 took minutes to die, they all strangled.
They say you can go up to 20 minutes hanging there.
He just stuffed it up, he stuffed the weights up and everything. And so there's 2 incredible famous trials here where they really were botched hangings by the same guy. And yet that guy went on for another 20 years to be the hangman. So it shows you what our authorities can do and ignore. If they think it's in the name of justice, they can get away with anything.
Exactly right, exactly right. Yeah, that's just a few cases, Swingers. Very shortly, John, we're going to move to another location. We're going to show you the jail because they started construction on the Darlighurst jail 1820s. I think it was convict labour that they used back then. 1841, I think. 1841, like you said, about 1914, and then it was closed, I think, to about 1920, 21, and the School of Arts.
The jail itself, become a School of Arts,
become the School of Arts, and we're going to head down there shortly.
We're head down there,
But while we're still at the courthouse, and we're probably flipping past the 1800s here, there was a lot of famous people that went through these courts as well.
Well,
famous poet.
Darcy Dugan.
Darcy Dugan, he went through here. Henry Lawson. He went through here.
He was in jail here often. Not usually for drunken and bogus.
He liked to drink, I heard. Banjo liked to drink too.
Thomas Keneally wrote a famous book, and you've probably seen a movie, The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, about a bloke called Jimmy Governor, and he got pushed too far when it was coming to him.
They hung him.
They hanged him in the early 20th century.
Yeah. But no, there's a lot of Darcy was a story of Darcy before we move on to the next segment. Well, the story, John, you actually you met Darcy. He left the courts here, I believe it was in '46. He was getting transported to. They had prison trams back then, and he escaped.
He was taken a long way.
He escaped, didn't he? How did he do that?
Well, he was always looking for a way out, Darcy. He just got out through the roof.
He was a master of escape, that bloke, honestly.
Well, he could make coups, but I think he had an actual knife and cut through. But it was just that he had to go. A lot of prisoners wanted to, and he got the.
He was a fucking very intelligent man.
Well, he could always get the cuffs off, so he never had any trouble with that.
Unbelievable, isn't it? But John's had an experience. You briefly met Darcy when you were incarcerated.
Well, when I went into jail early, they all talked about Darcy, and the first time I went in jail in 1960, he was actually there along Babies in a separate wing, and I heard he was pretty cool. They'd brought him there from Grafton, where he'd been bashed, because they used to send him to Grafton if he tried to escape and that, and he was always doing that. And I heard he was pretty cool. I never saw him, but always wanted to meet him. He was always in the headlines, robbed a few banks, but just a master escaper, always trying to escape. Nearly got out of Grafton.
Yeah.
And so finally, I wouldn't believe I'd come in for shoplifting. Cigarettes, and I knew I'd get bail. The magistrate just didn't like me because of my background and refused bail. And I was stuck here out along Bay. It was in 83. And what happened, I was in a cell with this guy and he had nothing.
You want something to read?
Didn't have a TV, all he wanted to do was sleep. I said to the guys, look, you reckon I can get a couple of books to read over the weekend? They said, well, the library's closed, but you might get the librarian to open for you. And I said, well, who's the librarian? I said, Darcy Dugan. Darcy Dugan. I've always wanted to meet Darcy Dugan. And they said, what? I said, where is he? They said, he's over there. He was coming out in about an hour. So I waited. I'm in the yard. And out struts Darcy. And he was very small.
Yeah, he was only about my size.
But his dad, he had
5'6", 5'7",
somehow he'd managed to have his clothes pressed. Creased in his pants. We're in jail. Spit polished shoes.
Bit of a ledge.
Bloody hat.
Oh, fair, he can be in the hat too,
Yeah, and he strutted along and I said, Darcy, can I see you a minute? And he stopped. Who are you? I said, I know about you. I said, just wanted to ask you something. I said, look, I remember about the shootout you and Beers had down at the PM when I was only a kid. He said, that was 20 years ago and I got sentenced to death over that. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
that's what he said. No?
He's pretty hostile. Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, sorry. I said, look, I know that you're a librarian, it's on the weekend, but I'm in a cell, I've got nothing. And just wondered if you could loan me a couple of books. I'll look after them, but I'll get them back to you. I expect to get bail on Tuesday. He said, bail? He said, why would I give you bail? What do you charge me? I said, shoplifter. He said, and everywhere he's standing, shoplifter? He said, a bloody shoplifter wants Darcy Durgan.
The Darcy Durgan, yeah.
So that was
he's had a go at you. Yeah. It was a bit embarrassing.
And I thought to myself, listen, Darcy, you don't know, I've been in the H division just like you were a grafter.
Yep.
I've robbed banks. I've done what you've done.
Yeah.
But
you respected the man.
But I respected him. He was sick.
Yep.
And he was a legend.
Yeah.
So I just let it go. I said, yeah, okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Just paid my respects to him. That's okay.
And that was your meeting with Darcy.
That's the only meeting I have with Darcy.
Really interesting. Look, all right, swingers. I think we'll move, Marcus. I think we'll go to our next location, which will be at the art school. We'll move down there.
Yeah.
That'll be, and we've got some stories around there as well.
We'll probably have to get past the security guard, but I'm sure we can do it.
Yeah, we'll go and talk to the security guard, see if we can get in there. You can film. You've filmed in there before, haven't you? I think so.
Well, we did.
It should be good.
Russell's Australia stories.
Yeah. So we'll go and suss that out, and that was closer to Darlighurst jail. You know, well, we're closer to where all this shit went down.
Well, there's still, I seen today, there's caught on today, so there's still functions.
Yep, no worries. All right, swingers, we'll come back with another segment shortly. Cheers. Welcome back, swingers. We've gone to our second location, John. We're actually inside what was Darlighurst Jail. Well, incredible, isn't it, mate?
It just reminds me of the old jails when I went to Goalin, to Bathurst, even Maitland. They're very similar to old English-style jails, and they were all pretty much the same. And I've seen photos of this when it was in existence, and it just looked like one of the Bathurst Goalin jails. Inside,
Oh, it's bloody amazing. Marcus has got some shots, but we're standing right next to a cell block here.
Well, you
which
see
is
three tiers.
Three tiers, mate. They all would have been cells.
No, some of them were 2 levels.
It's quite an incredible old building, actually, isn't it, John?
Oh, it is. It is. It's the same old. They're all built the same way. Those old jails, so English-style prison labour, and they actually built this. I think it was maybe in 18. When was 18? They started in
1820s. They finished 1841.
Yeah, 1841.
I think it was officially opened. Yeah,
because the down in the rocks, the jail down there was so overcrowded they needed another jail. And this is where they built it.
Well, they'd lock you up for fucking anything back then, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? What was the old saying? Like you pinch an apple or fucking handkerchief, or you know.
The first hanging in Australia happened in January '88 when they landed here.
They didn't miss around.
Within a week, they hanged a guy, 21-year-old, because he stole a shirt and a little bit of food. They hanged
because he was starving and didn't have a shirt.
That is incredible.
Yeah. So they broke his neck.
But at least they did bring in legislation later to stop that sort of thing. You know, but there were a lot of hangings, a lot of executions.
It was rife, wasn't it?
Before they legislated, they just wanted to set examples. If you do this or do that, you've just stepped off the boat after bloody 10 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you know, we'll hang you straight away.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've got a rough idea of sort of where the executions were held, possibly in this area. We're just guessing, aren't we?
Well, we think that they're in Taylor Square.
We've got a gentleman just coming over to see us here. Yeah. Just one sec, swingers. Well, we're back, swingers. We just had a bit of a disruption there, didn't we, John? A big fella coming out to chat to us.
We did. A big fella and a little fella.
Big and a little, yeah.
The little fella's a little bit angry.
He got a bit pissed off, but anyway, we were very courteous, and we've basically been kicked out of the old jail.
We did ask him where they hanged people, and he was good enough to tell us.
We were right in the vicinity where actually was the executioner's area.
Yeah, it's a horrible subject, but it's good to know. And look, the thing is that we got enough shots, I think, for people to be able to see. It was just like Bathurst Jail and Goalin Jail in the old days.
Absolutely, mate. And I mean, it's here, as you can see, swingers in the background. I think this would have been the main entry, the front gate.
Yeah, definitely.
and as we said before, the history. There's other stuff that I don't know if we mentioned earlier. A lot of Ben Hall, the bushranger, a lot of his crew were hung here as well. I think 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, a lot of bushrangers were hanged, and even as we mentioned, Jimmy Governor was hanged here.
Yep,
well.
Chandler Jimmy Blacksmith.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was early 1900s,
early 1900s, yeah. And they closed in 1914, but it's great to see. It's a school of art. We saw a lot of students through there, and a lot of them know the history, which is great.
They do. Remarkably, the building's intact. Marcus got a shot before. It'll be on the show there of where those tunnels led to. You were talking about with the courthouse.
Yeah, well, that's those tunnels. I'm not sure. That looked to me like it led to the dungeons, and also it may have led to the subterranean tunnels down where they used to bring you up into the court, which is under the courthouse itself. And we'll show a shot of the entrance of that where they used to drive the truck into there with the prisoners in the back. Yeah,
we're going to get a shot of that shortly.
And they used to have the holding cells there for the prisoners. And this was in modern times.
Yep.
This is where Darcy Doon really got out of there too.
Yeah, shit. And, when did you were saying before they had public executions? When did that finish again, John?
1856.
1856, and they got quite a crowd, wasn't it?
Well, it was.
Well, you pack your fucking lunch and
but 75% were women. It's hard to believe. 75% were women, and the thing is that they reckon the rich women used to bring their carriages and sit right up near the front to watch the executions.
It's pretty barbaric, isn't it?
It's pretty barbaric, and it just gives you an idea of the way things were, and then the upper classes looking down on the lower classes. So, but
I mean, it is barbaric. I'm not a huge fan of capital punishment, but I will say one thing: it's easy for us to stand here, but if your daughter or your son, your daughter was raped and murdered, or your son, that's a different kettle of fish. So I can understand there's two sides to that coin.
The podcast we did about the girl you knew,
Jenny,
and that guy got out later. And,
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And 4 beautiful young women lost their lives.
Young girls, mate, 19 and 16.
And you often wonder in that situation, but I've been there when they've executed someone, and it's a pretty horrific thing, and the feeling you feel it yourself.
Yeah.
And you sort of, and particularly when there's a doubt about whether that person. And
this is the thing. You've got to be 150%.
And there were doubts about, as we said, Louisa Collins. There were doubts about her.
Absolutely. 4 trials.
and probably a lot of others that just got pulled in. When somebody kills somebody, you're an accomplice. You go too.
That's a big thing, the two sides to every coin, because in those days as well, I mean, domestic violence is a big thing now, but even in the 70s, mate, even in the 70s, it was no one gave a shit. A lot of the coppers, if your wife got beaten, would say, listen, go home and sort it out with your husband or whatever,
Well, we know even with pedophiles and stuff, it was all hushed up.
Absolutely.
Right from the top. It's the Royal Commission's brought that out. But
Catholic Church, we won't get into it. They got a lot to still answer for.
A lot of churches too, and schools and everything else. Boy Scouts, the whole works it's right through.
But you can understand, particularly back in the 1800s, a poor woman that's been beaten shitless by her husband every day. That particular one, Louisa, was married 2 husbands twice. The shit that went on back then and was quite accepted. So you got to, what we always say, put yourself in their shoes, 2 sides to every coin. I'm not saying it's right. That's why she knocked her husband. But
I love to read the history of things that happened before you can make a judgment on it.
Exactly. And the girl we talked about earlier, Mary Jane, with the rape case. My God.
Fancy newspaper making a big thing the fact that she wasn't a virgin. So she was raped by 12 guys, but brutalised. She wasn't a virgin. So we shouldn't punish her.
And she would have been destroyed for life. Big Swiss Taylor's fallen down there now. It's a bit ridiculous.
But it shows you the mentality of some people back in those days. And but then again, as she said, she was raped by when she was 14 by a housemaster. So, and there's no reason.
She didn't live a long life, did she?
She didn't.
No, she'd die in her 30s or something.
In her 20s, I think.
In her 20s.
Yeah, it's very sad.
And quite possibly topped herself, which you can totally understand. Her life's destroyed, But you know, 79 executions here, 79 people.
2 women, 77 men.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, the last one after Louisa, that nosy Bob fucked up big time. That was the last one. A woman in Sydney and New South Wales.
Yeah, she was the last.
1889.
I think the fact that what happened to her.
Yep.
Just said no more of that. It's so gruesome. And I think the same thing happened in Victoria when they dropped the woman on a chair. No woman was ever executed after that. She was the last one in Australia.
I mean, listen to today. It's just not heard of, you know.
Well,
you strap her to a chair, you know, and
well, that's horrific.
Yeah, it is horrific. You know, your neck snaps straight away, and as we've said as well, you know, you can be virtually decapitated.
But
Louisa's windpipe was fucking hanging out. I mean, you know, people want to watch this.
Well, if somebody's sitting on a chair, you've got to wonder, they wouldn't have made allowances for that. You've got to wonder what happened to her when she got dropped through that track. It's pretty horrific. You know.
It is. It's a vast history here at the jail. And, just standing in there before we got booted out, you can just feel too, can't you? And see the old gates and where those tunnels were. You can imagine how many people were flogged, and it would have been misery in there.
It would have been good if we got arrested.
Well,
they put us in one of our cells.
They were a bit dirty on us, swingers. We didn't actually go in any buildings, but you know, we only shot from the outside. But they were a bit filthy on us. But
well, we had the students on site. We spoke to a few students, and they were quite.
And surprisingly, they know a lot of the history. Yeah. So. I think it housed about 200 or 200 plus. Depends how many they crammed in there, John.
Yeah, well, it depends whether they were 2 out to a cell. In 1960, when I went to Long Bay, it was 3 to a cell.
Yeah,
3 to a cell, yeah. And they're doing that now. There's people sleeping on the floor in some of these jails.
You still have the buckets back then, mate, or they had dunnies? Or,
no, I had buckets.
Having a pop in front of you. Jesus Christ. Everyone farting all night and carrying on, and bloody hell.
Jail was jail, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You didn't even have running water. You had nothing.
I worked at a hospital years ago, and they used to say, you know, you leave your dignity at the front door, you'll pick it up on the way out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so
if you ever pick it up again, and if you ever,
fucking horrific. Well, look, swingers, we've covered. We would like to get a shot. What you were saying earlier, and we'll finish off on that one more shot. And we'll move down there shortly, and then we're going to wrap it up for today's swingers. It's been very interesting. What do you think, John?
I think it's been a really a different type of show. Well, I think we've never gone back into the 80s.
We haven't.
1800s.
Yep. And we try and do different stuff on
Macca's
Macca's old school.
We're in the 21st century now.
Yep.
You know, and
the history is unbelievable.
And when I said to people we're going to do a show, I did it deliberately on the 80s.
Yeah.
They thought we were talking about the 1980s.
Yeah.
About the 1880s.
That's right. We're talking about the 1880s.
And the amazing thing is that with Captain Moonlight, that 100 years later, his letters resurfaced.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they become a legend.
Yep.
Because the gays pounced on it.
Yeah.
We've got, look at this, 2 bushrangers who were gay. You know?
That would have been a fucking big deal back then. And this jail was built purely, like you said earlier, for the overflow swingers. The overflow from the rocks, locking them up the rocks. Because you'd get locked up at the, drop of a hat back then for anything, you know.
Well, they locked them up for being drunk down there, but
did he?
Might forget they were
drunk, and he's a flogging to take with you as well, you know. It's unbelievable.
But they like to flog them down the rocks.
They love to flog them down there, I tell you. All right, swingers. Well, look, we'll just move and get one more little bit of shot and wrap it up. Before we go I've got to give a plug to a fantastic mob, which is called City Coast Shower Screens and Glass. They've really helped out my old mum, mate. They did a fantastic job. Brett, Phil, and lovely Kathy on the phones and the admin. City Coast Shower Screens and Glass. They've got a showroom at Erina, and we really appreciate their support. They've been a great support for our little shindig show.
Yeah, you told me.
Did a great job, mate.
Did a great job,
and helped out my old mum. I think we've got to pay you now. But anyway, Brett and Phil and Kathy, thanks very much. City Coast Erina showroom. See you shortly, swingers. G'day swingers and welcome back. This is our final segment. We've pretty much covered everything, John, but this one is, we're going to call this the escape area.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they brought them from the jail.
That's a serious old
there.
door and padlock, swingers.
And into the lane here and into the court, into the cells. The cells are just over there. But if you have a look up, when we're at Long Bay, they used to, and even before that when they brought the tram, they used to get them off and bring them up here, and they closed that door. But when we came in by the van, we got where those bricks are on the left, halfway up, there was a door there that opened that, and we'd go in there and we'd go to the left and go down the holding cells.
Yeah, right, yep.
And then we'd be taken from there further up, down into these dungeons.
Yep.
And all these tunnels.
Yeah, right.
And they'd be under the courthouse. The courthouse section was over there, and would come up sort of like sewer rats into the courts. But the idea was we could get the handcuffs off. We had guys who could make handcuffs and handcuff keys. We all had handcuff keys, wasn't a problem. The idea, well, as we got out, two of us were going to jump because we're handcuffed together, just spin around, push the screws over, and run down here. But they closed the door. A couple of times we seen it not closed, but usually when we were going to do it, they actually had the gate closed, and you couldn't get over there. You wouldn't do it in time.
Because if you got through this bastard, this is a serious gate.
We were fast.
They'd be off.
They'd never get us. Yeah.
We've got St Vincent's Hospice and St Vinny's over here.
Yeah.
But
and you've got a park up there, you've got around the back, towards down. I mean, there's just so many.
Do you know of any escapes that actually happened here? Like you say, everyone thought about it. And
no, I know Darcy tried to have a go from here, but it didn't work. But he got out of Central, though. You know? Him and Mears got out, and they left her right on the wall, going to Gowings.
The old famous Gowings fucking, the big department store that was there over 100 years. Yeah,
going to Gowings, and the cops were.
What, he went through the roof? It was the prison tram.
Yeah.
So where would the tram come along?
No, that was in the cells.
In the sorry, my
got through the roof there too.
Fuck.
Yeah. But the prison trams just come right past.
Yeah, right.
And, and they go down to Moore Park, and he got out down near there. But you can imagine these prisoners all automatically in a tram. They used to go out to Long Bay because they had the trams there.
Everyone would be going off too. What if someone got out? You're a beauty.
But a couple of guys that were going to escape from here, they couldn't because this gate. They did the same thing at North Sydney. Yeah. When they got off North Sydney court, about a few weeks later, threw their cuffs off and got away. They got them later. They always get them. That's the trouble.
Yeah, well, the thing is too, like the walls aren't actually that high, really. Even for a smaller bloke like myself, they're not actually that high, swingers. But
I wondered that. I've looked at these old jars and wondered why there weren't more escapes.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, you did have guards and towers.
Yep. Because if you could get over, if you could even just hang, it would give your ankles a bit of a hurt, but you could get away.
Well, when I went to...
it's just getting to that point, I suppose, without getting shot or beaten.
Well, I went to Adelaide Jail, and they were a bit bigger than this, but then I noticed they had loose bricks, and I thought, that's stupid, what have I got to do? Then I realised, if you threw a rope or something, the bricks would fall and screw it here, or so. And it turned out a crim come up with the idea, suggested it to the authorities, and got almost immediate parole.
Interesting. Fucking arsehole. Well, this was a very interesting little corner here, mate. This is serious.
That's history,
mate. You're not getting through that, but there's that little window of opportunity there, swingers. If the time was right, but
the bricks. Pretty loose, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty old. There's a lot of carvings in here too, actually, where you can see it's dated back to the 1800s and all sorts of things. It's very interesting.
All the New South Wales jails were made with the same stuff.
Yeah.
Old jails, all the modern ones now are American.
As we said earlier, this was all convict labour, started 1820, so, it took a
lot of sinning.
Serious bricks and serious construction. Fucking hell.
But there weren't a lot of escapes from Darlighurst.
Yeah.
And you would think there would have been, but there weren't.
Yeah, no. Well, we just wanted to sort of finish off with that swingers at this little section here, which was,
brings back bad memories to me.
Yeah, you've got it.
1960. 1960.
1960, fucking hell. Yeah.
I was a kid.
And that was the start of best part of 32.
Well, I escaped that year. Up advanced. Got shot at.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
I'm like, it's fate, I think, that I'm still around. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but you're a healthy bloke too, mate. You're a healthy bloke. You know, you didn't get into the drugs and booze, so...
Well, I've got an apple in my bag.
You're a healthy man.
Every day.
Talking about apples, I'm starving. But anyway, look, I think we'll wrap that up, Swingers. This fucking hat's eating me head up here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Swingers, for today. We hope you enjoyed it. We just wanted to touch a little bit on the 1800s. John, any thoughts?
I think it's been a great one. It's really...
the rain's held off for us, thank Christ, because it's a shitty day.
Well, it's going to rain today. So,
it was going to rain, yeah.
It's held off. But look, I think people that see this and don't know about this will be fascinated by the history of it. I'm fascinated when I went into... I didn't know stuff like about Howard. Nosy Bob Howard, because... wouldn't you think they would have sacked him after all those stuff?
Unbelievable. Well, it just shows, though, as well, that lack of care.
The
they didn't give a shit.
They
didn't give a fuck.
No,
let the person go through excruciating pain. Let a woman's head virtually be decapitated. Louisa's head was virtually hanging off,
and there was
with a fucking windpipe hanging. It's just unbelievable.
Four trials, mate. There was a lot of doubt about it.
A lot of doubt, and we like to do a bit of controversy. We're not excusing her, but we're saying there's a lot of doubt. You know. But anyway, I think we've covered a fair bit today, Swingers. We hope you enjoyed our little insight to a bit of 1800 Sydney. There's stuff here that I certainly didn't know about.
No, I didn't know about a lot of it either. No.
You didn't know that sort of 79 people got knocked here,
and I didn't
brutally,
And I didn't know it took 100 years before Captain Moonlight actually became sort of a legend.
Sort of famous. Yeah. And he wasn't the most famous bushranger.
He wasn't a very good bushranger at all.
No, he wasn't that competent, Crook. But anyway, thanks very much, Swingers. We appreciate it. That was episode 42. We'll be back real soon. We've got a few bits coming up, John.
Oh, some good ones, yeah.
And we might be having another lady guest soon. And
I hope so. She's very interesting.
Yeah.
We won't say who it is. But...
We won't say who it is. We're working on something as well down the track with a couple of authors, which will be coming later down the track as well. That could be an interesting segment as well. So
could be a good debate there.
Yeah, mate. Could be a nice bit of debate. All right then, Swingers, thanks very much. Number 42's over. We'll see you real soon. And thank you to all our subscribers. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate it, John. We're well in the 700s now, and thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you can like and subscribe, get to
it's free.
To 1,000 if you can. Yeah.
We're getting there. We've got 240 something to go. So thank you very much. We're still going. We struggle, but we're still going. All right. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.